Hey, welcome everyone to this Friday's live stream here in the Nutmeg Tavern. And welcome to the Nutmeg Tavern. I am John Townsend, your host. And it's not just me here in the Nutmeg Tavern. On the other side of the wall, as it were, the historical wall, there is Aaron on the console, making sure the live stream does all its flipping things back and forth, make sure the audio is right. And Ryan's in the question seat today instead of behind the bar where he belongs because Kyle is out this afternoon. So we are having a lot of fun here today. I've been out doing all kinds of crazy stuff, having fun and working hard and kind of sort of recouping from the entire month of May when we were out on the road and we were doing this and that. So it's been a very, very, very busy month, and I'm just kind of relaxing. This month, I'm going to sort of take it half off. Every day, I'm going to kind of work maybe a little bit in the morning and then go home and do things I want to do and then maybe come back a little bit in the afternoon. So I've been having fun this week doing that, not working quite as hard because, wow, I've been gone a lot. So do we have a great question to start out the day with, Ryan?
Well, there are a couple of Spruce beer questions already.
Spruce beer questions already.
When does it? Where does it show up?
Where does it show up?
Where and when, I guess.
So Spruce beer has this really cool history that's much older than you would think. There's a Northern European history for Spruce beer that goes back into the 14th or 15th century, maybe even older than that. Who knows? And then there's and that turns into a something that's called black beer, which is something I wasn't familiar with, but there's some tradition in that. That sort of tradition kept going even in England as an imported beer into the 1960s, 70s, maybe even some 80s, sort of a medicinal drink. But there's an 18th century and probably even 17th century tradition that starts in North America, especially in Canada, where the Native Americans in that northern part were using spruce as a medicinal thing, and so they actually helped the French when they were sort of kind of semi-colonizing and they were having problems with scurvy, and Native Americans came in and said, this spruce is going to help you out, and then they took that spruce tea idea and turned it into spruce beer, which of course destroys the vitamin C, but don't tell them that. And so that started that whole spruce beer tradition in North America that was popular up until the middle of the 19th century. And that part of that goes back and gets popular in England in the early 19th century. Jane Austen was a fan of spruce beer. So spruce beer's got this great 17th, 18th century tradition. I'm gonna open up this bottle of spruce beer. This is really fresh spruce beer. I don't know if it's gonna have any. I think I'm gonna be able to get it open. It hasn't been percolating.
Not gonna blow up on you?
No. It looks good. Thankfully, it didn't. There we go. I made sure to put a little nutmeg in the bottom of this glass just because,
So was spruce beer used in food preparation at all? Maybe to tenderize meat?
No. Not that I know of.
Negative.
Very good. Not any strange, weird distaste in this one. It's really good. Of course, the nutmeg gives it a nice little kick off the top, but still pretty sweet. This could continue to ferment a little while. This one isn't, it's a fairly fresh batch. Ryan's going to try his. He'll definitely say it's too sweet.
Did you make it sweet?
Well, you got to have some sweet in it, or it doesn't.
But did you make it John sweet?
All you have to do is wait for it to ferment more and turn that sugar into alcohol. He's always complaining.
I don't know about that.
Is that made in the same way as what we did yesterday? Same process?
This is the batch.
This is from yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yep. There was plenty of it.
So. What does spruce beer go best with?
Ooh, what does spruce beer go best with? Ryan's going to have a better answer for that than I will. He's stunned back there. It's too bad the camera wasn't on him.
No, it wasn't.
He's stunned.
What does it go best with? Well,
Pork chops and
Asparagus.
no, I was going to say rutabaga, but I do not know.
Somebody said pie and chips,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
I liked it. I tried it
It's
yesterday.
really good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about pairing it with a particular type of food though. It's kind of sweet.
Right. It's again. I bottled this up before it really.
I don't think it's
totally,
John sweet.
No,
It's not too bad.
well, and Ivy didn't think it was sweet at all, which is hilarious.
Well, it's not that sweet, but you can definitely taste the maple syrup.
Yeah.
But it's not as sugary as I would have thought.
Right. And the pine does come through.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like it. You did good, John.
Thank you.
Or you did well. Excuse my grammar.
So,
Yes.
do we want to get into kind of what this was used for, or are we trying to save some of that for Monday? Kind of like what spruce beer was known for in the time period.
Well, yeah, I can specifically talk to that. The spruce beer is yes.
I know the pairing.
Oh,
Pork chops and applesauce.
yeah.
This would be really good with that.
Right.
Yes.
So it's very specifically thought of medicinally a lot, and it goes from a medicinal thing to a recreational enjoyment sort of drink. And this is a small beer. In fact, this one is very, very small. There may be almost no alcohol content to it at all yet. If we would let this go a little bit longer, but even if it went all the way, it's not going to get very far, 2% or something like that. It just doesn't start off with that much sugar in the first place. But they were using it specifically as an anti-scorbutic, so something that would stave away the scurvy, and they used it on board ship for that purpose. But they knew that it wasn't a great one, and that's mainly because they boiled. You got to boil that wort. You got to take that sugar and the spruce essence, and you're going to boil that, and that destroys most of the vitamin C that's in there. If you would maybe toss it in afterwards, if you boiled the sugar in the water and then you put in the spruce essence, well, you might save some of that vitamin C. But then again, you might get strange, weird bacteria growing in there. So it was mainly a medicinal thing. And then later on, it was like, oh, this is just for refreshment. This is good stuff. And it was a table beer, a small beer, something that anybody and everybody was going to drink.
So somebody said, "What you writing, John?"
I'm writing notes about how I'm just experimenting here.
Why are you using a feather this week?
Well, we just got done with a whole series of videos, lots and lots of really good videos shot down in the middle of Tennessee. They're right just north of Nashville and Goodlettsville. We were at is it Bowen Campbell House or Campbell Bowen House?
It's Bowen Campbell.
Bowen Campbell House. We were at the Bowen Campbell House in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, right there where Mansker Station is, and we were working with Brian Allison, and we were doing a whole series on writing and using quills and cutting quills and making ink, and so I thought, hey, I should be using these more now that I've got a little bit more of a clue about what's going on. Did I explain enough of that? Did you want?
Yeah,
more?
I liked it. It was great.
Good.
All right. So somebody's
Ryan
asking.
was with me. Go ahead.
Sorry. Somebody's asking about dye sheds out east. What were dye sheds like? DYE. You know anything about that?
No.
No. We got
I'm trying
nothing for you.
to connect some dots here, and none of them are connecting for me.
Sorry, guys.
Dye
All right, and then-
sheds.
I think everybody that's having a market days is asking if we're coming to them.
There's
There's Lebanon, Indiana. There's one in Maryland I saw, and there were maybe one or two more. We don't have any travel plans to something like that. right
there's
now.
an 1812 event in Fort Wayne this weekend.
Yeah, I know, and I would love to go, but I can't this weekend.
Dye sheds, East Coast.
Yeah, I can try to. What was it? DYE?
Yeah, like
DYE.
dyeing fabrics.
Yeah.
So this comes. Somebody just commented that DYE sheds are greater than DIE sheds, which is kind of a funny comment. Anyway.
I don't know. Like, nothing like pops up that little.
Did people... Well, let me see here. You guys are firing in a lot of really cool stuff. Here's a.
He's not as good as Kyle.
I'm
is
just
he?
not used to it.
We're just gonna have to just straight up
That's-
say,
You guys, if you could stick up for me in the chat, I'd really appreciate that. I got. It's an uphill battle here. Will Josh be featured in any content in the near future?
we could drag him in. I don't know. He's kind of shy about that stuff sometimes. He just likes to go. He likes to go back there in his troll hole and do his work. And so maybe I can drag him up for a video. We'll see.
What about pickles and pickled eggs on Navy ships?
Pickled eggs on Navy ships?
Yeah, that's what the question is.
I don't think you're gonna see. Well, maybe for the captain or for the officers, but those poor sailors, they're just getting the. No, they're not gonna get anything yummy like that.
They're not going to get anything yummy like that.
No. Yeah, no, definitely the officers. And some of the recipe books even have specific sections on here's what the officer should take to sea with them. As in, what kind of provisions or what kind of preserves is really the word I want to use. And something like pickled eggs might be definitely something they would take along. But that's definitely going to be an officer's kind of officer's thing.
I'm going to grab...
oh,
go ahead.
sorry,
You want to do
buddy.
yours first?
I was just going to say, how about shellfish dishes? Any in the future? John, do you like shellfish?
Did we have any on the list? Can you think of any? Wasn't there a shrimp one we were
There was a
thinking about
shrimp
doing?
one. That's, as far as shellfish goes, that's probably a cheat though.
Well,
But we were gonna cook shrimp.
they're underwater bugs. They're pretty close.
Wow. What about okay.
Go ahead,
for it,
Aaron.
Yeah, let's do some donations real quick. A lot of good questions. Someone said Ryan makes a better barkeep than Googler. That's about the nicest thing you could say to someone.
I'll take that any day of the week. Thank you.
Okay, from the top, Vault Boy, thank you. Love you guys. Thanks for the history and recipes. Carly7567, 2 donations. Thank you. Tyson Q, thank you. What would surprise a man from the 18th century the most if he suddenly appeared in 2019? Oh, where do you start with that?
Yeah.
And then Jen, thank you. How did people in the 18th century deal with pests, namely ticks, mosquitoes, and biting bugs, particularly the hunters out in the woods? P.S. We received your suet the other day, and we absolutely love it.
Woohoo.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Garcon, I believe. Thank you. Sean Cousins, thank you. Will Townsends ever make a video about the law or small claims court cases in the 17th century compared to today? Maybe Maggie didn't get the fee for her laundry. Yep, I like that idea. And then the RP424, thank you. Thanks for all the content. Your channel is what got me started in reenacting. Going 2 years strong now.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks.
Question, how far west are you willing to go to for an event? Thanks, everyone.
I've been out to Colorado for an event, but that's been many years ago.
There aren't a ton in our period that way.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Questions. Some most surprising thing. And again, thank you all you folks that were donating that way. Surprising thing. Especially if they just popped in, right? If you just, boom, you're there. I think they would be just appalled by our clothing. I think we would be very surprised.
Aaron wearing his crowbar shirt.
Yeah. No.
Somebody
way.
commented on his crowbar shirt again. Thank you for
Really?
loving metal. Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think they'd be appalled by metal.
Yeah.
Well, that
Music.
that too.
Can you imagine living in a world without crowbar though?
I can. But I think that's where I would start with that. I mean, obviously we have these really weird technical, technology things going on, live streams, weird stuff like that. But it takes a while for them to even understand what's going on. what is that? That you can do that, communication and all our interconnectedness that we have today. But clothing's where I would start. I think that would freak them out the first. Let's see. Small claims court. Yeah, that would be interesting. And we almost had a chance. We ran out of time with Brian. He had some we were going to talk some crime stuff, but we didn't end up having enough time for that. Even though we spent 2 entire days with him, we talked and talked and talked and talked. His voice was mega worn out by the time we got done with 2 days of shooting videos and talking. So was there another question? Oh, pests. And we talked about this. There were different kinds of salves, especially Native American developed salves that they sort of, hey, maybe you guys should try this or that, keeping pests away. They didn't, to a large extent, some of them you just had to deal with it. You also would keep mosquitoes away. You'd have clouds of smoke. You'd have smoky fires to keep the mosquitoes away. But it was always a problem. And of course, we suffer from it today, even though we use very advanced bug repellents, and still they bother us.
So somebody says they've got spruce beer brewing right now. They're wondering if you use any hops in yours.
I have used hops, and in the recipe I make in the video, I don't use hops. This technically does have hops in it. The Amelia Simmons recipe uses hops, but most of the recipes don't use hops. The earlier ones, they're just super simple. Sugar, usually molasses, sometimes maple syrup, sometimes even just sugar, but that's sort of a later thing. And your spruce essence, your yeast, your good water, and that's it. That's it for most of them. But some of them get more complicated. And Amelia Simmons does use hops. And I think that's definitely, if you expect to have it last any period of time, you expect this to be good, 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, you would lightly hop it, but not a lot.
Hey, if you could only choose one, would it be nutmeg or mushroom ketchup?
Nutmeg or mushroom ketchup?
John's scared right now. This is terrifying him.
Can I have nutmeg in the mushroom ketchup?
I don't think it can be overstated how good the mushroom ketchup is, though.
It's
unbelievable. You gotta answer it.
Well, I'm gonna say that I would put up without having nutmeg over mushroom ketchup. There you go. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't want you guys to put me in that kind of position. That's just all there is to it.
It's like asking which.
Yeah,
hand
I don't even want to
keep.
think about a world where you can't have one or the other. So before we go on, I've got, we were on the road last week. We did the live stream, but I really wasn't able to, of course, we weren't in the studio. And I think the week before, I wasn't able to get the Patreon names. And then we didn't do a live stream because we were at Martin Station. So I have all these wonderful Patreon people that have been new in here. I'm not going to list them all out to right this second. I've got so many, I'm going to touch them a couple of times. I'm just going to do them in little batches. Valerie Kessler, John Paul Woodley, Beth Irwin, Richard Delato, Rachel Cooper, and Herbert Yamada. That's our first batch of Patreon people. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon.
That's awesome.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. I got plenty of questions here, so let's burn through some before more donations
We could do all lightning round.
Well, okay. Somebody would love to see some sewing videos.
I better find somebody else to do it because
they're looking at techniques too. They're not just looking for. That might be a little tricky, but you have any plans for that?
Sewing. I got an idea, but it's probably not a very good one. Sewing. I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Were nuts common additives to food in the 18th century?
Almonds were big in the cookbooks. Occasionally you see some other nuts showing up. I think a lot of other ones they would just, eat offhand as a particular compliment or as a piece of something. But almonds are the ones that just show up over and over and over and over again.
Have we done any recipes with nuts? I was thinking about that salad we did. What was that? Maybe 9 months ago. I can't really think of any other ones.
Yeah, that was the Spanish recipe that had pine nuts in it, which
pine nuts
aren't really. Anyway, pine nuts.
People are asking about pecans.
Yeah, don't know about.
I don't know if we've done it.
I'd have to do some. They also would sort of cover nuts with sugar. Like sometimes we've got those sort of things. You'll see those in European cookery from that time period. So yeah, nuts. Mm-hmm.
Is it
Chestnuts?
true that lye soap is good at keeping fleas and ticks away?
Ooh, I have no clue about that. Lye soap, fleas, and
I feel like that's something that people have in their head from like Gone with the Wind or something like that. I'm not sure. How about fish jerky?
So many people have responded in the stockfish episode about fish jerky that I want to pull the stockfish out of my storage bin and start trying it. I don't know though. I mean, really, guys, you're gonna have to convince me because I don't know if my teeth can hack it. Do you have to like hold it in your mouth a little bit to soften it up, or you just I don't know. Fish jerky.
Have you visited many historical sites in New England?
Yeah.
And did you have a favorite one?
Every historic site has its own flavor, has its unique things to it. Sometimes the tiny sites are very, very interesting. You can't spend a lot of time there, but just because there isn't much to it. But there's some just amazing sites. When we were at Mount Vernon, Ryan was at Mount Vernon. It's beautiful, really, really interesting. So much stuff there, and great folks working at Mount Vernon. We did a piece at Gunston Hall, and the Gunston Hall folks were really neat. And that's one of those places that there's a lot more to it, and they're still working on, can we do more of this? Can we do the log town part of it? So there's still sort of the ideas about developing that site more. We were at, I went to the Plymouth Plantation, and I still have some hidden footage that might work into a video someday, but everybody's against it here. No. Anyway, Plymouth Plantation, an incredible site, and their programs there and their first person, just insane, wonderful. So yeah,
we've got an Australian asking, what is a butternut?
Butternut is like a walnut, but it's better. So what we have here that grows around here are black walnuts. And black walnuts, while they're prolific, are kind of bitter and they don't taste all that good. There's English walnuts that are a lot better. They're easy to crack. Black walnuts, you got to have like a sledgehammer to get the dumb things open, and then you get a bitter fruit on the inside. English walnuts, much nicer, much easier to crack, and butternuts are even softer and, if in my considered opinion, even better. But they're a little harder to grow, and they have some disease issues.
So is birch beer next? We've done ginger beer and spruce beer.
No, I don't think birch beer is next. Well, I won't say that.
Well, I was going to say there's probably double the amount of people in here as when we started. Do you want to talk about what we're drinking today?
So we've got spruce beer here. Spruce beer, very, very common drink from the 18th century. Developed first as a medicinal drink and then as just a refreshing drink that people liked. It was a small beer, a table beer, something with very low alcoholic content, something that anybody in the family could drink. Used as an anti-scorbutic, something that would maybe keep you from getting scurvy. Probably didn't work all that great at it, but they thought it was good for them. got so popular as a refreshing drink that it started to be used in New England or in England in the early 19th century. Jane Austen talks about spruce beer. So yeah, really fun. It's going to be Monday's cooking episode, so you'll be able to see that. And this is just a little sampling of some of the stuff that I made for the episode. I had a lot of fun with that episode, and it's one that I've actually been developing for. I've been working on spruce beer for probably 15 months. I have been wanting to do it, and it just took a while to actually do the episode. I did most of the research and worked on most of the developing it last May. Actually, there was a little piece of a documentary that folks came in and shot a documentary with me. If you want to check it out, it's called Beers of Joy. And it is now available on, I think, iTunes and some of those other places, maybe Amazon. What's his name?
I'm just going to link the website itself.
Right.
I know Apple, they're doing something with iTunes. That's
right.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
He'll put the Beers of Joy in there. So this episode, or the spruce beer was originally developed and shot in the Beers of Joy. So you'll get to see that if you check that out. So that was an excellent project. Very just wonderful guys to work with.
Well, and I was going to say with this spruce beer video, usually the cooking videos are pretty easy to cut. This one though, I'm still not done.
You're not done with it.
I'm saying
it should have been easy.
No, it's actually quite extensive.
Yeah,
and it's more of a.
It's a big episode.
Yeah, so I'm excited for everyone to see it. There's a lot of information there, a lot of history. There's a lot of rich history to the drink itself.
And you guys are probably tired of laundry anyway, right?
Oh, no.
No
a lot
way.
of laundry, though. Got a couple more.
All right, so
more
I think that we've got a lot of people that haven't been watching for a super long period of time that have come on.
Okay.
And we need to talk about our back catalog some, because people are wondering if ice cream was around.
Oh, yeah.
They're wondering about pirate foods such as grog and lobscouse. They're wondering about blacksmithing videos. And we've done a lot of that kind of stuff. It's just back catalog.
So we produce a cooking video, or let's say a main video once a week. We've been doing that for years, 5, 6, 7 years. So we have, I think that most you can't normally see as a user, but from the creator side, I think we've got 750 active videos on our channel. There's a lot of content, and YouTube doesn't make it terribly easy to find. I think there's isn't there a magnifying glass if you go on the channel?
Right.
You go into
the
videos.
Channel, though.
Right. If you go into the channel, you go into videos, you hit the little magnifying glass, and you can type in, ice cream, whatever,
Yep, we have an ice cream
and
video.
it will it'll hopefully find that sort of episode for you. We have done a wonderful Parmesan ice cream episode with the folks down in Conner Prairie. Check that one out. That is really good, and I love that ice cream, even though people couldn't interpret my face or how I reacted to it.
It was interesting.
It was really
It was
good.
not interesting. It was good.
Well,
was
and
very good.
I'll say this, as tough as it is to find videos on YouTube sometimes, within the channel itself, the video list, that search actually works really, really well.
It does.
Right. So you just got to go to our channel and then go
Yeah,
to the
go to
video tab
yeah.
and then search inside that.
And then I've got, before we move on to any donations, I've got some people that commented way early, and I want to get those questions in. Was it appropriate for women of any social status to play an instrument like a penny whistle or a jaw harp? I think the question is that too lowly for higher class women to play, or I'm not exactly sure what they're getting at, but I thought maybe you would have an idea there.
So okay, I mean it's a multifold question, I guess, and you have to, and I don't know exactly what they mean by the question. Number one, women, especially higher class women, or middle to upper class women, they were very, very encouraged to better themselves with certain kinds of education, and musical instruments are way up there, right? But when you talk about jaw harps and tin whistles, that's a different thing altogether. Now, maybe are we talking about public performance? I don't know about a jaw harp, but definitely a tin whistle. They had people that were just in the streets. They were selling songs. They were singing. You would certainly have women in those kinds of situations selling sheet music, and they might demonstrate the sheet music by singing the song or playing the song, and then you would buy the song from that person. So, yeah, I don't know about a jaw harp. That's a really good question.
One of the things that they were wondering following the laundry video, particularly relating to the smalt.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine ground glass, so was it dangerous to produce?
Right. There
are other dangerous laundry chemicals.
Right. I saw that question in the comment section of that video. People were commenting on smalt. And, okay, what happens in there, and it's very similar to a glaze you would use on a piece of pottery. You create this glass with this chemical, calcium or cobalt carbonate, and you mix it with glass components, so silica and whatever kind of flux agent you do to turn that into glass. Once that's in glass, the cobalt part of it is not dangerous whatsoever. It's encapsulated inside the glass. It can't get out. It can't get you. Even lead is the same way. Lead glazes, which are all worried about, oh, there's lead in the glaze. If that's encapsulated properly in the glass, it's not a danger to any great extent unless you use, very acidic things. But then you're worried, oh, am I swallowing glass? Well, what happens is we grind that glass so fine that it's a super fine powder, and it's not going to hurt you in the least. So in the case of the laundry, that cobalt is inside of glass, and then that glass is into just a super fine powdered particle that it is not going to cause anybody any issues.
Okay. How about metal plating, electroplating in North America in the 18th century? Did they keep metals? How did they keep metals from rusting and tarnishing back then?
They certainly had a way to wash sort of a plating effect on things. They would call it a gold wash. But it wasn't electroplating because they didn't understand what was going on with electricity to any great extent, especially in that sort of plating action, unless it was, a trade secret. And we don't know about that because they wouldn't publish that. Right. So if somebody had that secret knowledge, they're not going to be talking about it. So they would protect their metals, though, by putting that wash on it. And I'm not sure exactly what kind of chemical technique they would use to, plate those things. It's a little beyond me on that one.
I'm going to do some donations real quick. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the support. Where did I?
This chat's hopping today. Thanks, guys. Or maybe it's always like this, and I'm just behind the bar drinking.
Yeah,
it's usually this busy. Max are cool. Thank you,
Max are cool.
Thank you,
John. Thanks for sharing your Friday afternoon with us. We appreciate all the work you do. Thank you. Elliot Kruger. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliot.
Finally got a chance to catch the Friday live stream. Thanks for being great. Thank you. Keltoid 5. Thank you.
There he is.
Love my new mug.
Awesome.
Good.
Reading Michael Twitty's book. Any plans to have him back on as a guest? I would love to.
Yeah.
Charles Ward. Thank you. So lucky to have caught this live stream. Quality content all around. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That's it. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Great. And while we're here, the next batch of Patreon names, Tree Shaker Tucker, or Tree Shake Tucker. That's a great name. Here's one that's just Emma, Lucas Campbell, Merrick Kelly, Flavio Ribeiro, something like that. Sorry about that. And Mark Dusk. Another batch of Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah,
wow,
thanks,
that's
everyone.
awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, I got to hit this question up before it's lightning round because I think it's going to be a long answer. I got to find it real quick, but it's a really good question.
Are you ready, John?
Yeah.
Well, here's a lowball question just to take the time up. Is the woolen short jacket on our website good for a French sailor, 1750?
Yes.
All right.
That was a lightning round one. Yes,
I know, but
yes,
I was trying to take up some time, and I didn't take up enough time.
Yeah, you'll see that style of round jacket showing up in Europe as well as Great Britain.
Man, what is this question?
If John could build or sail, John likes this stuff. Okay, if John could build or sail on any style 19th century boat or ship, what would it be?
I'm not going to be that picky. Let me tell you, any style is almost there. But I'm very, very interested in doable, small, not tiny, right? But the smallest size merchant vessel. Right, so there are these brigs or even one-masted sloops that they were using for shipping of small quantities of goods, and they would actually go quite a little ways. You might go from the Carolinas all the way down to the West Indies and back with little cargoes. I like the idea. It's like I would love the idea of a big ship like you see the HMS Surprise in the Master and Commander series, but that's not doable by anything but a crew of 30 or 40 guys. That's not very doable. I would love to do that, but it's not very easy to do in these times without having a giant budget. But they did do smaller things that were still very, very kind of large-scale commerce. Even if you've been to the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum, that's right there in downtown Boston, they've got a couple of ships, and they're trying to get a third one. And those are, as they say, the sort of the semi-trucks of the day. They were smallish merchant vessels. Still good sized. I think they're brigs, and maybe 70 feet long. You could still have a crew of 8 to 12 people crewing something like that. That would be really neat.
So somebody's convinced that you would have been a smuggler with your small quantities. And,
Oh yeah. Small quantities packed tightly and
hidden compartments.
Yeah, I was even thinking about that today. One of the things that shows up, they talk about deal, like a deal table. You'll see references to something like a deal table, and deal table would be a lightweight table made with flimsy materials, and that's because deal boats, they were lightweight boats made for smuggling, very thin boards, or they might fall apart on you, but it was meant to go fast and not for very long. So, yeah.
John, you've just been dubbed the Nutmeg Knight.
Nutmeg Knight.
That's got a ring to it. Hey, do we have any of those mugs for sale?
Yeah, the mugs. Somebody, it was Keltoid 5, was it? Is it talking about the mug he got?
Yeah, and somebody else asked if there were any available.
He probably got one of these Nutmeg Tavern mugs. This is a new batch. We got them just a little while ago. We haven't been able to talk about them much because we've been gone. This is the 14-ounce size. They are hand thrown in the United States. Really cool. What you call that? Peacock blue, green color with the Nutmeg Tavern logo on the front there. You might wonder, it's like, did they do that in the 18th century?
Well, somebody asked if these mugs are period correct.
Right. Did they put, like tavern design? Yes, they put tavern logos on the front of ceramic mugs in the 18th century. So the concept, totally period. They might not have had these beautiful glaze colors and this really sharp logo on the front, but very, very similar. So we've got the black with the white. The everybody really likes this turquoise color with the kind of brown runny stuff on the top of it. These are 14.5 ounce.
Peacock with rust.
Yes, peacock with rust.
That's what you need to say, John.
Yeah.
Gotta get that right.
Use the right terminology.
Sue O'Connor just got her peacock colored one.
Nice.
Good.
Thanks, Sue.
Sue also said that she was going to take a drink every time you said nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
And I said, "Oh, careful."
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I said, well, it depends on what she's drinking.
Hey, if you could pick a recipe to showcase nutmeg, what would it be?
That shirt.
Recipe to showcase nutmeg. They all have nutmeg in it.
I think it'd be this one right here. Yeah, that's the one. That's the recipe.
And we have T-shirts on the website. I might want to check those out. I'm not. That's all I'm gonna say.
Go buy our T-shirts.
I'll get those in the chat.
All right. So, I've seen summer savory in a few older recipes. What exactly is it, and why don't we use it?
Summer savory. I hope somebody else in the chat's got an idea on that one.
Who's got that? Somebody pop
Somebody
in the
pop
chat
up
and
with
help
an
us
answer
out.
on that.
Dye sheds, summer savory. I don't know what any of these are.
Summer savory.
I will say this. I Googled dye shed, and the top 5 links were to this little shop. I guess they dye wool. And that's all. That's as far as I went, and it was all to this one specific store.
Oh, well. Yep. Yep.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I thought Aaron was going to give us something real useful there,
Somebody
but
just said they used hen of the woods to make their mushroom ketchup.
oh yeah,
Man,
I'll bet that
you
was
got to
good.
send us a bottle.
Yeah,
That
that would be
sounds
like
good.
chicken flavored. Let me tell you.
Somebody just asked if you would like to own a Revolutionary War cannon for your private collection.
Are you kidding?
What kind of?
That would be awesome.
What do you have to
And
add?
No.
actually, you could just ship that to us if you'd
Right.
like.
Going to,
Thank you.
Dave, who comes in and does the coffee episodes every once in a while here on the live stream, and he's got the coffee episode that, or where he roasts the coffee beans. He's got a cannon, so if I really need to
course
borrow
he
one,
does.
if I need to borrow one, and he's got this great bumper sticker on his truck, something like artillery is. You remember what that bumper sticker is? Have you seen
No,
that one?
I don't.
Darn, it's a really
I wish I
good
did,
bumper sticker.
because it sounds great. On the summer savory,
Yes.
often compared to marjoram or thyme.
Okay. Yeah.
Summer savory has a spicy aroma and pungent peppery flavor that's milder.
I was gonna guess, but
Yeah.
I figured somebody else would have the real answer.
Somebody said they made their boss a cannon. I'm not going to make you a cannon, John.
Yeah, it'd probably explode.
All right. Would you ever consider vlogging at historical events?
Blogging, as in writing stuff down?
No,
or
vlogging.
Vlogging. We kind of tried a little bit of that, but
Yeah, man.
We did.
how would that go?
It would be cool for like 3 vlogs, and then it'd be, I get it, like day in the life at
Yeah.
Townsends. It would, I don't know if
He's
you
saying
could
it's
stretch it out
boring.
every day. No, not boring, just
Yeah.
the usual.
It's hard because you can be so stoked at an event, and it's one of those things that if you're not experiencing it, if
Yeah.
you're not smelling it and hearing it and doing all of that at the same time,
Right.
it just doesn't sink in.
I agree.
So, somebody is wondering how they can make their own spruce beer. And
Ooh.
You'll have
there's
to
gonna
watch
be
the
a
episode
video.
on
Monday.
Monday. So Monday at 4:30 or so.
Yeah,
Check it out,
around there.
and
Eastern
you'll,
time.
you'll get most of that. It's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. And this one's really good. That's all I'm gonna say.
People are saying that they would like a few day in the life videos. I don't know, I don't think we're going to talk Aaron into it, guys. It's okay. He's right usually.
Yes, that's true. I agree.
How about, have you tried cooking potatoes in pine resin?
Oh yeah. So they used to sell. Do I have? So they used to sell. I think more likely down south. It had these little cast iron pots that they would sell, and already filled up with pitch, and you'd cook your potatoes in that. So you'd warm that pitch up till it was hot or something. I haven't done it, so I don't know. And then they would cook their potatoes in that and take it out, and then kind of bust the shell around it. And sounds like a super interesting concept. I have not done it.
So this is an interesting question. If you were dropped in 1770 Philadelphia, how well could you blend in before you were caught as a time traveler?
Oh, probably about 3 seconds.
My crowbar shirt would
Right.
Yeah,
pop right
your
out.
crowbar sure would. But even if you
Aaron
popped
wouldn't even
in,
land on the ground.
even if you popped in the clothing, you would stick out instantly.
Man.
Wait, say that again?
Even if you had the right clothes on,
You'd stick out?
you would stick out. Yes.
Just like our haircuts and stuff?
Haircuts, the way you would talk, your mannerisms, how you would interact in that culture would be wrong. We just don't act like they did, we probably even walk funny compared to people in the 18th century.
Man, here's a scary question. How was glue made in the 18th century?
I think a lot of what they were using for glue would be hide glue, which is, it's very it's gelatin basically, is what you would put together musical instruments with. So hide glue is going to be one of the main glues in that time period.
Okay.
And we hardly ever use hide glue today. You just don't hear about that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Well, we did. Are your Nutmeg Tavern mugs historically accurate? Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
We did. Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Do you know any places for 18th or 19th history? I'm sorry, 18th or 19th century history in Middle Tennessee area? We look
Yes.
forward to watching a video on location there if you can.
Well, we were there.
You're
you
lucky.
missed us. We were there, right there, just north of Nashville,
Mansker Station.
Mansker Station, and there's that site. There's also Bledsoe's, right? That's somewhere. Do you know where Bledsoe's was, Ryan?
It's close. I don't know exactly geographically. But it's close.
So there's a Bledsoe's fortification station, something like that. I haven't been to Bledsoe's. We have been to and would love to go back again to the David Crockett birthplace. That's in Limestone, Tennessee. There's Fort Loudon, right?
That's in eastern Tennessee. That's not central, but
Right.
it's not too far of a hike.
Right. Apparently, Tennessee is one of those states where the East Tennesseans don't talk to the middle ones, and the middle ones don't talk to the Western ones. But I don't know. I'm not. From
It's a wide state though.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those long, skinny states the wrong direction.
Right.
So
Maybe
Man.
it's the right direction.
maybe it's the right direction. Maybe it's the right direction.
You need to quit hating.
Mansker Station was neat. It was.
Yeah.
You guys should go check that out.
Right.
All right.
And there's a bunch of historic sites in that area. We even visited a little tiny just log house, the Bridal House, in that area.
Yeah, that
so
was cool.
there's a bunch of
Oh yeah, what did we do there? Let's talk about that.
Well, hey, when we combined a whole bunch of things into one trip, and we had this great conversation with. You want to find a link for that?
What is it?
Muzzleloader Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Gatliff, who runs Muzzleloader Magazine, he used to run On the Trail magazine, which was just about trekking, and he also does American Pioneer Video. He currently runs that. So Jason's been in the hobby field, whatever you want to call it, for the last 25 years. Great guy. We had this wonderful conversation, and it will be one of those long-form conversations that we've been working on.
We just scratched the surface, too.
Yeah.
He's got so much knowledge.
We talked a couple of live streams ago. I asked about that long-form conversation idea. Is that going to work? And we still don't know, whether YouTube's going to like that, just how that's going to work. I don't even want to talk about what YouTube's going to like or not like anymore these days. But we want to create that content. So we've started working on that project. Jason Gatliff interview will be fun. So we shot that at the Bridal House.
Yeah, these folks are going to get angry if we don't talk about cookies.
Cookies?
Most popular cookie in the 1800s.
Most popular cookie in the 1800s. So cookies are weird. Cookies today, they're very sort of American thing. We talk about cookies all the time. But we get them from the Germans. In fact, that word cookie is related to cooking, and they've got a bunch of, I'm not an expert on German or Dutch or any of that stuff. But that's where that whole idea of this little kind of food thing comes from. In the 18th century England, they might more likely call them cakes, or they might call them biscuits. They certainly created those kinds of things, but the German ones were a lot more sort of famous. Gingerbread's another one that's sort of similar actually kind of starts out in Germany and goes to England too. So gingerbread. Let's see. Did we do another one? We did the jumbles. are another sort of cookie.
Yeah.
And we did a Jumbles episode. I did that one with Ivy. And the fried cookies, which are the reindeer antler episode, which
The
are sort of
little
like
antlers.
Jumbles, but deep fried. So, yeah.
Here, I'm loading it right now.
There are a ton of people that are saying we need to come to Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
What site or what thing's going on in Arkansas?
They've listed quite a few things, and I didn't copy them, so I'm not exactly sure. But we'll look back through the comments and figure that
Yeah.
out.
So there's the Christmas cookie,
Yeah.
the sugar wafers.
Right.
remember that
That was
one?
the Gunston Hall.
No, that was
No?
here.
Sugar
Yeah,
wafers.
we did it in the kitchen. It's like super light,
Okay.
light and crispy.
Okay.
The chocolate biscuits. Do you remember that
Yeah,
one?
chocolate biscuits.
Yeah. The jumbles, pound cakes.
Yeah, I don't know if I call those cookies, but yeah.
And then holiday cookies. Yeah. Tons of cookies.
We did it.
Oh man, we're getting close. I didn't
And
see
and
that.
gingerbread that we did with Ivy.
Yeah.
And oh yeah.
Are there any?
Ivy's really little in that one.
Yeah. We were talking
It's
about
probably like
that.
4 or 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're approaching lightning round. I don't know how lightning will be because I'm not Kyle.
Well, if we're gonna do that, let me see.
I still have more Patreon names.
Oh man, we got lots to do, guys.
Let me do these donations real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Then we'll do Patreon. Okay. Sue O'Connor, thank you.
Thank you.
Were there specific cheeses? What's your favorite? Kimmy Poo. What's your favorite episodes? Brand new here. Mike Crook. Thank you.
Okay.
Love your videos and insight into the 18th century. You're all doing great work. Thank you. Can't wait to brew your Spruce beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Eli TN. Chance we see a video on shoe making, barrel making.
Yeah.
All right. So cheese.
That cheese making video is really cool. That from
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah, and
that's
that
one of my
one's
favorites.
It's still popular. Lots of people
Yeah, that
comment
still
on
gets
it.
views.
So you can search for it.
I'm gonna just throw it in the chat.
And it's a farmer's cheese, but it's very salty and it's like a Parmesan cheese. Excellent. We even use that cheese to make the Welsh rabbit, and
Oh, dude,
which is really good.
that's tough.
Real
it shouldn't
quick.
be that tasty.
No,
It's
it is really good.
ridiculous.
Real quick, I didn't know this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it in celebration. This cheese making video. I think it just crossed 1 million
It
views.
did it? Wow.
So here you go.
Right. So there's
Add to it.
and Parmesan's popular. Cheshire cheese, very, very popular. You'll see all those sorts of cheeses. Some of those regional cheeses, they didn't get to be. They were popular in their region, but they weren't exporting them, so we don't know about them. But the ones that were exported that we do, it's like Cheshire cheese that gets exported all over this place. The Parmesan cheese that's going all over the world. We know about them because of that. But there are other fresh cheeses and other types of softer cheeses that don't transport so well, so you don't see them show up in the cooking as much. But everybody has their own sort of cheese culture. Was there another question there? I already
Yeah,
forgot what it was.
favorite episodes.
Favorite episodes. You guys in the chat are going to have to talk about favorite episodes. I like them all. What can I say? One that doesn't get as much love because it. I don't know. Is the log barn video? Ryan and I worked on that one. We love that video.
And Aaron was like the cut king on that one too.
Right. Aaron
That
did
one,
such
we put
a
a
good
lot
job.
of time into that guy.
But there's some really fun.
I would
ones out
say
there.
for me my favorite. Actually, I would say the canoe series,
Yeah.
only because we went in with a vision of what we wanted, and it ended up being like basically
that.
what we wanted
Right.
when it was all
Okay.
said and done, and that's always fun.
Here's the secret. You guys might have to find a link for me. It's the ending credit sequence for the zombie video.
Yeah. Well, I like the beginning credits too. I mean, both credits for that are a lot of fun.
We should start doing like
wasn't around
a
then.
Halloween special every year for the zombie video.
No. Oh, you
No?
mean just do the same video over and over again?
Yeah, like
Okay.
do a premiere or something, or like a live
Right.
viewing of it. I don't
We
know.
could do commentary. We can do commentary
so
on it.
this goes
Yeah.
along with that, and it's a great question. I think all three of us should answer.
One second though.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Shoemaking and barrel making.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll try. That's tough.
Okay.
That is tough, man.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so this goes along with that. What has been your most stressful video shoot?
There have been a lot of pretty darn stressful ones. All the ones we did at Mount Vernon, because we were up against a timeline.
Yeah, the time crunch there. That's what came to mind for me, too.
They were stressful. And even the Michael Twitty ones we did at Gunston Hall, we did 4 videos in a day with a guest host, and we started out late. It was flat out.
Just 2 of you.
It was just 2 of us, and we shot until it was dark, until there was no light left.
For me, it was the Peace Porch, Peach Preserves, Apple Brandy, that whole trip. It was the first time that I was the guy behind the camera by myself, trying to direct things around, and that was stressful. But I think they came out okay.
Yeah, whenever it's a time thing, they're always hard.
What about you, Aaron?
In a way, they all are kind of stressful. Even still to this day, when we go and do a regular shoot, it's like, oh gosh, did we remember this? Even though
we always ask that question.
Times.
We're like,
did we get
closing the case? Did we get everything?
And we've always got. I think we've had to do add-on shoots like maybe 3 times, or some voiceover things. But mostly it goes smooth. But I still get stressed out. I don't know why.
Do you guys remember the title for the zombie video so they can search it?
I think it's Death by
Was
Zombies.
it Death by Zombies?
Yeah,
I think it's Death by Zombie, not Zombies.
Yes,
okay.
Death by Zombie.
All right, cool. All right, quick question about ice cream. How did they keep it cold?
Well, they used ice. I mean, to make it in the first place, you have to have ice, and they would have ice houses, and they would make it, and then they would eat it. You don't throw it in your freezer, obviously. Right.
So ice sawdust helps the ice stay around the ice house. They cut it out of lakes and rivers. There you go.
Yep.
Ever going to do another exchange with Mrs. Crookham?
Hopefully.
All right. In the Colonial Vegetable Garden, what were the 3 must-have vegetables for the home?
I think potatoes are going to be one of the easiest things to grow and most prolific. Carrots are obvious. And I would say maybe beans or something. And then if I get a number 4 kind of add-on, pumpkins.
Okay. Has John seen Steve 1989 eat the piece of hardtack from the Civil War?
No, I haven't.
That sounds pretty funny. Were there hard pretzels as we know them today in the colonies?
They had pretzels, but I don't know just how hard/soft they were. I don't know. That's a good one.
Could you do a video on 18th century horsemanship and tack?
I could, but I'm definitely going to have to find somebody that's more of an expert than I am.
That would be awesome. But, man, finding the right person is going to be tricky on that. Do y'all have any more content planned with Mr. Coldcracker, Dan Wowak?
We haven't talked to Dan lately, so maybe.
Actually, I talked to him not too long ago, not about video stuff.
Okay.
I think he's spent a lot of time forging stuff right now.
Yeah, he's making knives and such.
Have you guys ever covered the fiber arts?
Fiber arts, way back in the instructional videos, I show how to use an inkle loom. And there's the spinstress episodes that we did with, what's their name, Ryan? Karen Heinlein. Heinlein. Yes. So there's a little bit there. There's probably more.
And she just made me a hat, and it's my favorite hat. That's awesome. All right. If you've got more Patreon names, we should talk about that.
More Patreon names. Merritt Ruthroff. Chika Dozen, boy, you got tough names, guys. Stacy Cerveno, Andy Breeden, Swag Littell, Jim K, Acom 7, Colin Hoskins, Yana, Carol Campanella, Janelle Vladimir, and then a special thanks to Amber Crystal Dotier.
All right, and then Aaron, Can you drop the links for the mugs and the shirts one more time? I've got a question for you to go out on. This is kind of an interesting question. What was the average currency carried by citizens?
Average currency, the most common thing you're going to see in someone's pockets. Small change, it's going to be half pennies or farthings, the small copper pieces, but they might not be as available as you want them to be. And so, on the other hand, for a little bit larger, and the commonality, probably pieces of 8. Spanish milled dollars are going to be probably easier to come up with than a lot of coinage. And boy, we were just using whatever, and everybody in the 18th century was using whatever was available. Certain coins were more popular in other places, in some places than others. But everyone knew, I mean, they were made out of, silver or made out of gold or made out of copper. So they could tell kind of what they were worth by weighing them. So,
and I almost forgot this. Maggie Collins called and requested a shout out on the live stream.
Who was that?
Maggie Collins asked, and it was from Mr. Dunn's first period.
Mr. Dunn's first period class. I can't imagine they'd still be around watching.
Right.
But if you're there, guys, thank you so much. So it's been an incredible day here live in the Nutmeg Tavern. You've made it happen. Thank you so much. The chat has been obviously massively busy. You have some wonderful questions. So thank you so much for all of that. I really want to thank the folks, Carol and Frank. We went to their house to do the live stream last week. Brian
and the grandkids
Allison
were awesome.
Yeah, and the grandkids were there. So Brian Allison and all the folks down at Mansker Station, and
Jason Gatliff.
Yeah, Jason Gatliff and
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller, yes, we talked to Mike Miller and Bill Maddox. So many folks out there helping us out, and you guys watching the videos, commenting on them, super chatting, and all these Patreon names. You guys help us so much. Thank you for everything you do, and thanks for watching.